Number 1. The American airline AirPass disaster. In 1981, American Airlines looked at their balance sheet and had an idea that seemed brilliant at the time: to sell lifetime, unlimited first-class travel for one huge upfront payment. The price was around $250,000, which in 1981 was enough to buy a house. The pricing team ran the numbers and assumed something reasonable, that even most frequent flyers would have somewhat reasonable normal travel patterns, maybe a vacation and the occasional international flight. But they were catastrophically wrong and never saw what was coming. You see, people like Stephen Rothstein and Michael Joyce treated the AirPass not as a travel perk. It was a lifestyle to them. Rothstein alone took over 10,000 flights in 25 years. He'd fly to London for lunch, wake up in the US, hop on another flight to London, have a meal, then fly back. The airline accountants started doing the math and realized these passes had become financial black holes. Rothstein alone had accumulated over $21 million in flight value. The company was hemorrhaging money on a product they'd sold decades ago, and there was no end in sight. These people could keep flying forever. So they did what cornered corporations do. They started investigating pass holders for rule violations. They accused some of using companion passes improperly, claimed others had violated terms of service, and began systematically canceling passes. Rothstein lost his pass in 2008. The company argued he'd broken rules about reselling companion seats, though the rules had been deliberately vague when he bought the pass. Lawsuits followed, but the airline argued that the holders had violated terms, and the passes were no longer financially viable. Number 2. The Domino's tattoo promo that got capped. In 2018, Domino's Russia came up with what they thought was a genius marketing stunt. Get a tattoo of the Domino's logo, post proof online, and receive free pizza for 100 years. The marketing team probably sat in a conference room thinking they'd get maybe 5 to 50 superfans willing to permanently ink a corporate logo onto their bodies. After all, who tattoos a pizza company logo on themselves? But they catastrophically underestimated the internet's willingness to do stupid things for free food. Within days, tattoo parlors across Russia were flooded with people demanding Domino's logos. Some people got tiny, discreet tattoos. Others went absolutely wild. Full-color designs, elaborate artistic interpretations, massive logos covering entire arms. Domino's watched in horror as hundreds of people lined up to turn themselves into walking advertisements. The company had essentially promised an annuity, a guaranteed stream of pizza for decades, with absolutely no cap on how many people could claim it. Suddenly the math wasn't adding up, and the company was bleeding money. If, let's say, 500 people qualified, and each person got 50 pizzas a year for the next 50 years, that's 1.25 million pizzas Domino's had to give away for free forever, and that was way beyond the promotional budget they'd allocated for that campaign. So Domino's did what any panicking corporation would do. They retroactively changed the rules mid-campaign and capped it at the first 350 qualified entrants. After this disaster, pretty much every other company took notes and started adding strict caps, qualification windows, and elaborate terms and conditions to any giveaway. Number 3. The Starbucks $1 reload hack. For years, Starbucks had a loyalty program that seemed pretty straightforward. You spend money on coffee, earn stars, then get free stuff. On the surface, this looked straightforward until you looked closely. You could get 1 star per transaction, not per dollar spent. The system treated every swipe of your Starbucks card like it was worth the same. That meant buying a $1 muffin earned you the same reward as buying a $20 catering order. But here's where it gets interesting. To reach gold status, you needed 30 stars. And to the people who were keen enough, they realized something beautiful, that you could buy a $5 Starbucks gift card, walk up to the register, reload it $1 at a time for 30 separate times. Suddenly, the Starbucks queue flooded. People would stand at the register like they were performing some kind of financial ritual. They'd reload the card for a $1 step to the back of the line and wait their turn again. And do it again and again. The cashiers must have thought these people had lost their minds, but they had a secret of what nobody had realized yet, or maybe the company underestimated how far people would go with this. In 2016, Starbucks decided to rewrite the entire rulebook that killed the hack overnight. You were now rewarded for being rich and not being clever. You could only get 2 stars per dollar spent, and suddenly $1 reload only got you 2 stars, which means you need to do 5 times more work and have 5 times more money. Number 4. The Amazon No Incentivized Reviews. In the early days of Amazon, the company had a pretty logical idea about customer reviews. If you actually bought the product, your review was trustworthy. That little verified purchase badge became the gold standard. It told other shoppers, This person isn't just making things up. They spent real money on this. But Amazon made one catastrophic assumption. They assumed the money you spent on the product actually came from you. Sellers figured out that they'd set up underground review farms, these sprawling networks of people coordinated through Facebook groups and dedicated forums. The process was simple. You buy a product on Amazon using your own money. You leave a glowing 5-star review, and the seller refunds you through PayPal or sends you a gift card, often with a little bonus on top. From Amazon's perspective, everything looked legitimate. The seller on the other side is making a calculated investment. By giving away a few products and paying for glowing reviews, they artificially inflate their product rating, climb the search rankings, and unlock Amazon's recommendation algorithms. Some people turned this into a full-time hustle, and they were pulling in thousands of dollars worth of free products every single month. Amazon cracked down and started purging thousands of existing reviews, banning seller accounts, shutting down the review brokers who'd built entire businesses around the ecosystem, then introduced the Vine program, which is basically incentivized reviews. Except now Amazon controls every aspect of it. Sellers can give free products to reviewers, but only Amazon decides who gets invited to review. Number 5. The 10 CDs for a penny mail order scam. In the 1990s, Columbia House and BMG had what seemed like the greatest deal in the history of music. 10 CDs for 1 penny. The offer was simple. Pick any 10 CDs from their catalog, send in a penny, and they're yours. But the catch was buried in the fine print. You had to agree to buy a certain number of CDs at full price later on. The companies assumed people would feel morally obligated to honor the agreement. After all, you signed a contract, you gave your word. Surely you'd buy those full-price CDs eventually, right? Wrong. Teenagers and early internet nerds looked at this offer and saw something completely different. An infinite money glitch in physical form. The system required almost nothing to sign up. No credit card, no real verification. Just a name and a signature that nobody checked. So people started signing up under fake names, building an entire ecosystem of fake identities, all receiving CDs at the same physical location. The company got enraged of this and would send angry letters demanding payment for the required full-price CDs. But all they had was fake names of people who didn't even exist. The offer was too good to stop running because it attracted real customers, but it was too easy to exploit since they assumed people would follow it out of moral obligation and do the right thing. So they started adding tracking codes, building an internal blacklist of individuals who took advantage of the glitch. People suddenly got banned for a mistake the company had made itself. They later pushed for credit card-only sign-ups. Number 6. The Olive Garden never-ending pasta. In 2014, Olive Garden had what seemed like a fun promotional idea. Sell a $100 never-ending pasta pass that gave you unlimited pasta, breadsticks, and soft drinks for 7 weeks. It was supposed to be a lighthearted summer promotion, maybe get some families to come in a few extra times and generate some buzz on social media. What they didn't account for was that some people would take it with all seriousness. Hardcore customers turned it into a full-time optimization project. They built their entire meal schedule around it showing up multiple times a day, treating the restaurant like an all-you-can-eat buffet that happened to have waiters. The math was simple if you were shameless enough to exploit it. Olive Garden's average entree costs around $15 to $20. Add breadsticks and drinks, and you're looking at $20 plus per visit. If you went twice a day for 7 weeks, that's roughly 100 visits. At $20 per visit, you'd rack up $2,000 worth of food from a $100 pass. The return on investment was 2,000%. It was designed with the assumption that people would be reasonable if given no restrictions. They finally decided to shut it down, and when they brought the promotion back in following years, the new passes came with guardrails that looked like they'd been written by lawyers.